Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Haunted Heart Podcast.
Welcome back. You're very late night radio announcer this week.
Oh, I'll try.
Oh.
I'll try. A little bit, Got to throw in a little talent here and there.
Little bit of talent.
A little bit of talent.
Just a little, though. Definitely not a lot.
We have,
Definitely not
we have
much.
a reputation to uphold
That
here.
is true. A reputation as a trash can. Maybe a recycling bin. Looking forward.
A nice bin.
A really nice recycling bin.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the metal ones that are painted.
Yeah.
I actually saw a recycling bin in Loudon. That's a local place near DC. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, California. I'm looking at you. And they had recycling bins that were painted like they were metal, and they're so pretty looking, and they're mint green. I thought it was some kind of sculpture.
Nice, like an art sculpture.
Until I realized that there were a bunch of them, and that they were just
recycling bins.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what we should do. I should make some little stickers, just say trash talent, and go around trash bins and slap them on them. Recycling containers, slap them on them.
I love it. It's great.
But thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Today.
Thanks for listening to this horse shit. I mean, we really appreciate it.
We really honestly do. I mean, the feedback that we've gotten from the last episode, the downloads,
Yeah, we saw a fair amount of growth in the past week or so of people downloading, people tuning in and listening, and a lot of them listening for the first time. So
yeah. Hey, that's cool too.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. It's pretty cool that we,
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty cool that we're still recording this podcast. I definitely thought we would have given up by now.
Right. Now, let's see. If you know us, then you know that was very likely.
So likely.
So, no, I mean, but again, just thank you to everyone who started following us on Instagram,
mm-hmm.
Who has sent us messages,
mm-hmm.
Emails. We have some, exciting new things sort of coming up where we're working with other people a little bit. So
yeah,
excited to roll that out. And also thanks to everyone that's voted for us on podcastland.com.
Yes. So we made a post on the Instagram page and put it in our stories. But if you haven't seen that, we are currently in a contest on podcastland.com. It's kind of a site that's geared towards the guy who made the site, he's actually really cool. And he kind of wanted to make a platform for smaller podcasts who maybe aren't produced by friggin' NPR or, these massive podcast networks. He wanted to create a platform for people like us to kind of get the word out about their podcasts and what have you. And it's the contest is totally user run. He does it every month. And the podcast that has the most votes in that month gets named the best podcast of the month, and they get featured on the page, and it's super cool. And we would really love to do that.
Yeah, especially just starting out. So that would be really cool for us. So
that would be awesome. So all you have to do is go to podcastland.com and then search The Haunted Heart. That should pull up our page, and then you cast a quick vote for us. You have to put in your email. But there's no spam email associated with it. I can vouch for it because I signed up my email. I voted for us, bitch. I did.
Damn.
So, yeah. But you put in your email, and then they send you this verification thing, and you click it, and then you make us really happy.
Yeah, it's a very easy process. So definitely, if you're a new listener, you like what you hear, go give us a vote. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes. The other thing is, hopefully you notice a difference in our sound quality potentially this week. We're trying something different.
We're not going to tell you what that is, though.
We're not going to tell you what it... No, fuck it. I'm telling them. This is real.
No.
We're on the floor, and we're surrounded by pillows. And we have beautiful blankets everywhere. And we are desperately trying to cut down on some of the echo that maybe has been on some of the other episodes. So if you notice a difference, that's why.
Yeah.
And if it sounds awesome and you like it, and we don't have our legs fall asleep and fall off of our bodies, then maybe we'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
This way.
So,
but so we're kind of in a different physical space.
Yeah, it's
tonight.
Kind of like a little sleepover vibe.
It's totally sleepover vibes. Yeah,
like a little, I feel like telling a spooky story. You know what I mean? It sort of gives me those vibes, or a seance, or some sort of tarot reading or something
Well, speaking of seances and tarot readings, for the past couple weeks, we've been a little into the, we've kind of still been into the mystical, magical, but we're diving hardcore back into witchcraft this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about animal familiars.
Animal familiars.
So, yeah. I was very excited about this topic because I personally have 2 animal familiars.
Yes, you do. You most definitely do.
I have 2 little kitties, and I'm jokingly referring to them as my animal familiars, but they're kind of...
They could be a modern day familiar.
Yeah, they literally follow me around everywhere I go, so... And then there are other similarities.
Well, yeah.
They follow me. They love Mom.
You're not going to mention that.
What? Okay, so okay. So I have 2 cats. One is an all black cat. Her name is Minerva. She's adorable. And I've had her since she was 6 weeks old. And then my other cat, Ripley, they're both runts. Ripley is a tortie, and they're both very, very small. And we think that Ripley was maybe left by her mom, really early. And so I've had her since she was a little itty bitty baby as well. And she has this weird quirk. She has a lot of weird quirks because we don't think she got enough oxygen. When she was being born. But she's got a lot of weird quirks. And one of them is that she will put her paws on my chest, and then she will attempt to nurse at my neck, which is not an uncommon thing for cats, but usually they get out of that. And she has never gotten out of it. So
you're her mama.
Yeah. They say that the vet said it's a nervous thing. And they were you could train her not to do it, but do you care?
Well, and I consider Knox. And then I also have a rather large cat. He's most definitely not a runt.
Your cat is such a fat ass. I love him so much. But
that's what makes him so much like me. I definitely consider Knox a familiar because there's so many similarities between the 2 of us that it's almost uncanny. They always say that, your animal familiars choose you. Mm-hmm. So when we went to go pick him up, when I was looking at the shelter, he when I opened the cage, he just popped out, jumped out of the cage, jumped onto me, and did not let go. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Guess you're mine.
Yeah.
But what I think, other than just
actually,
him being
both of my cats did that.
Yeah.
One Minerva came trotting out from the back and jumped up in my lap and just laid down. And she had never done that prior. And then Ripley jumped from a 2nd-story landing onto me.
In true Ripley fashion.
Yep.
Yeah, and just physical appearance-wise, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
He loves his kibbles.
He likes his kibbles. And the one thing that I find the most interesting, though, is that, like me, he has a small patch of gray.
He does.
On his tail, he has, 4 sprigs of gray hair that just are there. And I have about 4 or 5 sprigs gray hairs growing in my eyebrow. So,
would you call it 4 or 5? I would call it maybe 8.
Shut up. Shut up. So yeah, little similarities like that. I definitely consider him a familiar.
Well, they say that although animal familiars are normally... So the concept of animal familiars as we know it in... you may know it from like Wiccanism or other like neo-pagan religions or practices.
Mm-hmm.
But it actually comes from, it dates much further back than neo-paganism. Familiar spirits first appeared in European folklore from the medieval and early modern periods. So back then they were called familiar spirits, and they weren't necessarily animals. They were just supernatural entities that would assist witches in their practice of magic.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have animal familiars that were people,
Mm-hmm.
or they could be animals. A familiar spirit could actually be a doppelganger who looks very much, who might not necessarily look very much like the individual that's concerned, the witch, but it kind of is like when we were talking about the Shadow Children on the Celtic mythology episode.
Yeah.
How that it's like a person, but it's like a person who's like not all quite there.
Yeah.
It's like that is what it reminded me of,
Mm-hmm.
these familiar spirits. And they kind of go out and do witches' bidding.
Yeah.
But they can also be animals, and that's how most of us know of animal familiars.
I did read that they could be like plants as well. Like it's not always
Really?
an animal, but yeah, like you could have like plant and mineral familiars too.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Huh. What would your plant familiar be?
A Venus flytrap.
I knew you were going to fucking say that. What's that?
Just
like
lays
really...
there with its mouth open, waiting for food to come by.
What if it was like the corpse plant? Do you know the corpse plant?
Yeah, that's the one that smells like a fucking corpse.
What if that was your plant familiar?
God.
Shit.
Well, like, everybody, like a lot of people are really, excuse the pun, familiar with familiars.
A lot of people are familiar with them.
But, you see them a lot of the times. Like, I really like seeing them, like on TV and like in movies and stuff like that. I really love the fact that like when I think animal familiars in TV, like I always go back to, like Harry Potter and Hedwig.
Yeah.
Which moment of silence, please.
Mm-hmm.
So, or even, like in The Craft, where the girls invoke the spirit of Manon. They are walking on the beach and they have their little jars, and one has a butterfly, one has a fish, a snake, and a bird. Practical Magic, another good witch movie.
That is one of, if not my favorite witch movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not counting Hocus Pocus, because you can't count Hocus Pocus.
No. But that scene in the movie where they're like doing the love spell, and then like they have the pigeon, and they do that thing to the poor bird or the dove.
That made me sad.
Yeah,
but I still love that movie.
I do too. Even like in Disney's animated classic, The Sword and the Stone, which is an old that's like old Disney,
very very retro
with
Disney.
Merlin and his owl Archimedes.
Mm-hmm.
So I love just like that's the one thing that I love seeing is like how, and for the most part, like it's pretty accurate how they've been portrayed, which is interesting because most of the time, if you take something, and try to translate it into film, it gets a lot of like, it gets really muddled.
Well, I think it's because the concept of animal familiars as we know them in pop culture is a newer concept in itself, taken from that familiar spirit sort of idea. Mm-hmm. But a couple of the ones that I thought of, because I kind of tried to make a list too of, just things that spring to mind. Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
The animals that help. So the definition of, or one of the things that animal familiars are supposed to do, they're supposed to guide the young witch and provide them with protection as the young witch comes into their new powers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So I kind of thought about the animals that helped Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella.
True.
In Disney movies, whenever the princess sings, like all the animals that come running and like help her do her chores, like all of those are technically animal familiars.
True. And you can have more than one familiar.
Yeah. And then also Thackeray Binks.
I thought about that too.
AKA
I was
like my first crush.
Mine too, really.
I love him so much. Do you know that it shook me to my core to learn that he like grew up to be that guy on NCIS?
Oh, yeah.
Because there was something about that guy. I was like, I like you.
I liked Billy too.
It could be,
The zombie.
Oh, yeah, I like Billy. Billy was pretty cool. Billy was really cool.
No. No, the guy who sung the skeleton guy in the scene at Town Hall.
Yeah.
Who's doing the singing.
Yeah. He was pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Rick Janae. You remember Rick Janae from the Born This Way video?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know Rico the Zombie Boy, go look up Rico the Zombie Boy. He is like the coolest dude, and he gives really great interviews, and he's super nice. I had like an email thing with him one time. Yeah, it's pretty big deal.
With him one time? Well,
no, he's super freaking hot.
Well, you watched the TV show Salem, right?
I knew you were going to talk about Salem.
Did you see that in my notes?
No, I just knew that you were going to talk about that because you love that show. And that show is like very, like what I remember of that show, the animal familiars were like kind of a big part of it.
Oh,
and the scene with the frog.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, like Salem premiered, I think, well, first of all, it's probably one of my favorite representations of animals / familiars on TV. So it was a supernatural TV show which aired on WGN America, and it was loosely based on the Salem witch trials. And it starred Janet Montgomery as the leader of the Essex witches, who sort of slithered her way to the top of the puritanical hierarchy in Salem. She was responsible for creating the witch panic and a nefarious plot to summon the devil. Okay? So good stuff.
In the plot of the show.
And it originally premiered on Sunday, which, I mean, genius to the time slot team for doing that. Love it. But I thought that they did an excellent job with incorporating some of the history and the folklore of animal familiars while still delivering that entertainment value.
Yeah.
And so in this world, the familiar chooses their witch, like, is in history and folklore. So, but that only happens after they have signed the first page of their Book of Shadows in blood.
Yes.
So, yeah, they sign their Book of Shadows in blood, and then their animal familiar sort of comes to them.
Yeah.
Chooses them.
Which is consistent with what I've found.
Yeah, it is.
In researching the folklore and things like that.
Yeah, so...
You have to already, like, commit yourself to Satan. And,
right.
And then your animal familiar finds you.
Right. It's sort of like, in this instant, or in this TV show, considered like a gift from him.
Yeah.
To aid you.
Yeah.
But some really, like, instance that you talked about earlier, so Mary Sibley, again, who is the main sort of HBIC, or HWIC, in Salem, her familiar is a toad. I guess I should say spoiler alert.
That scene. This scene is so good. Even if you don't want to watch the rest of the show, you should watch the episode that has this like toad thing in it, because it is like.
Well, there are a couple of toad things. So there was the one where like
I'm talking about the one with the guy where she shoves the toad down his throat. Yeah, she shoves the toad down his throat.
That is so.
And he's like tied to the chair.
So that's her husband.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And that's how she controls him. And so she, shoves the toad down his throat, and it sort of prevents him from speaking, keeps him docile, and just essentially unable to communicate that his wife is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
And is crazy and trying to, and is a witch, essentially. So that she was able to... Whose
side are you on?
Right. Well, so she was able to do that. She did that to him so that she could govern through him, like through his voice. And, because we all know women can't rule unless it's through the voice of a man. But, she was trying to bring about the devil, so...
Moral gray area, yeah. I would say.
At least a little hell on earth, I mean, it is what it is. So that was a really interesting scene. They had the nipples, the witch's marks. So, like, in order for, like, you have to feed your familiar.
Yes, that was something that was taken from the folklore. That was, I mean, overall, having researched it, looking at that TV show, they do a really good job of taking elements from the folklore and kind of reimagining them. So the reason that I told the story of my cat attempting to nurse on me is not to freak everyone out, although that's a welcome side effect, I guess. But in the folklore, when a woman becomes a witch, and most of the time it was a woman because history hates us. When a woman becomes a witch, she signs a pact with the devil and then receives the devil's mark. And that's supposed to be where the devil's mark is where the devil kissed her to seal that pact. And then her animal familiar, they are fed like bits of bread and sometimes meat, but mostly what's always consistent is that the animal familiar is fed with blood. And blood that they usually get from nursing
this witch's mark.
The witch's mark, right.
Yeah.
So that that part of Salem where they show that is pretty accurate as far as the folklore goes.
Yeah, and what was funny is that Janet Montgomery was noted, she was quoted as saying when she was filming that scene, like, it was really awkward for her because she had the frog up, because for her character, it was a teat.
Yeah.
It was
they actually made the witch's mark like nipples, which is kind of weird. Can you imagine like having to go to work and just like stick on nipples to like your leg? What if you forget to take it off and then you go home? And you're like doing your thing. Oh, that would be so awkward.
Yeah.
That's the way to make a memory, though.
Make it memories.
Yeah, I'll never forget
when
her strange leg nipple came off in my teeth.
Well, she said like she was holding the frog or whatever, and they were doing the scene so that she was trying to get the frog to suckle, and she was like, the frog just wouldn't suckle. He just
probably because
he peed on her. He just kept pissing on her. Like he wouldn't go. Like, I guess he was probably a little nervous. I'd be nervous too.
You don't really think of frogs as sucklers.
No,
because they're not mammals. Like, they don't nurse, so it's not really.
But I guess like just trying to like
get him to sit still.
Get him to sit still and like put him up to the teat was a task. But,
I don't blame him. It seems weird.
There was another really crazy scene. So there was another crazy witch.
Is this whole episode Salem?
Maybe. I may be a little obsessed.
Is this a podcast about how much we like Salem?
I may be obsessed. I'm sorry. It was a really good show. I really liked it.
How many seasons did they have?
3.
Oh.
They only had 3 seasons, which sucks.
Okay.
But no, the girl, or the witch, like, she lured this man into the woods to try and to seduce him,
as we do.
And yes, as all women do. And then proceeded to like, he got his pants down, and then she proceeded to then castrate him,
as we do.
As you do. And then she took her familiar, which was a crow, and placed the crow at his open wound, and between his legs, and
what you're referring to is his dick.
His dick. His non-existent dick.
The gaping wound.
Yeah, the gaping wound. That. Yeah.
I didn't see that scene.
Yeah, and then Chef, so he had a fucking crow
Just
like attached to his crotch area, and that's how she controlled him, because like women do control men through their penises, right?
They went a long way for that metaphor.
They really did.
Went a long way, like really, really far.
They did.
I appreciate it.
They did. And then, and then one more, because they had so many.
I'm cutting you off.
No, don't cut me off. No, there was a cute little brown mouse, and his name was Brown Jenkins.
Oh.
And he was the animal familiar, and he was the cutest little thing, and then his witch mistress had to sacrifice him, because, that's what he's there for. But he didn't, die. The devil brought him back.
Oh, cool.
But every time she would sacrifice him... But every time she would sacrifice him for, whatever spell she was doing, he came back, bigger and, less cute.
Oh.
So, he eventually, towards the end of the show, got to be, super huge and had, these blaring, evil red eyes. But, by the end of the show, so was his mistress. So, I think that sort of showed some parallels there, so.
Interesting.
And the only way they could die was if the devil himself killed them. So, if you betrayed the devil, he'd kill your familiar. Shove a spike right through it. And then he'd be dead forever, which sucks. So don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't advise it. But, so they're interested. So in Salem, do you remember how did the witches meet their familiars?
They sort of just appeared to them. It was almost in a natural sense. So it wasn't like they went out.
Yeah.
It was sort of I don't remember specifics, because the only one that they really showed was Brown Jenkins, the mouse, because the other witches had already had that pact.
Yeah.
But I think he literally just crawled out from somewhere.
Right.
Where a mouse would come from.
Yeah.
And they say that sometimes they weren't really, speaking in general, they weren't really, or I guess it's kind of like what you said earlier about them being more of spirits. That use the animal as a vessel.
Yeah.
As opposed to it actually being
a literal animal.
Yeah, a literal animal.
Yeah. No, there's actually a couple different ways. So that's one way that I found. It looks like there's kind of 3 distinct ways that witches meet their familiars. So the first is appearing suddenly. And that one is, it was from the early modern period, and it's found more in English, stories about English witchcraft. But basically, this would be where you're just washing clothes or whatever after signing your pact with the devil, as one does. One still must do laundry. And then all of a sudden, the familiar, whether it's in human form or animal form or whatever, just suddenly poof out of thin air in front of you. Yes. So there was Joan Prentice from Essex, England, gave an account when she was interrogated for witchcraft in 1589, claiming that she was alone in her chamber and sitting on a low stool preparing herself to bedward, as you do, preparing oneself to bedward.
That sounds like something your mother would say.
It's true. When Joan is, brushing her hair or whatever.
Okay.
In her silky nightgown. Probably not silky in the 1500s.
Probably not.
Probably itchy wool. Oof. And all of a sudden, her familiar appeared to her in the middle of her room. And I actually didn't know what her familiar was. Interesting. Should have probably found that out. But these texts are very old and incomplete. Another woman, Anne Jeffreys, related in 1645 that her familiar first appeared to her when she was knitting in the arbor in the garden. So that's one way out of thin air. Okay. Very magical, mystical spectacle.
Right.
Another way is to be bequeathed by a family member.
Yeah, I read that. Like
Which
you can
kinda
get
makes
them.
sense.
Yeah, like they can pass down.
Right.
To you.
And that's kind of like I mean, I guess that's kind of like Salem and Sabrina, right? Because don't the aunts sort of bequeath Salem? Salem's like their family cat, right?
Yeah,
like he's been with all of the witches.
Yeah. Now
up until that point.
That's actually kind of a gray area because some people actually get like animal familiars confused with like animal totems.
Yeah.
So they're like really different things. So most like modern day pagans are sort of they sort of believe that unless you are like native, then you can't really have an animal totem because a totem is supposed to be, it sort of protects over your tribe and your people, your village. Like that's kind of what it's about. And you don't really have as much control over it as you would an animal familiar.
Oh, okay. So the totem is kind of like an independent spirit that is linked to you.
Yeah.
Like in Moana.
Yeah, like, so there was one lady. Yeah. Right.
Oh God, I hope Disney doesn't like
sue
me for that.
There's a tribe in Africa that their animal totem is the crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have special, like, feasts and whatnot, or, whatever, and they, like, sacrifice things to the crocodiles, or...
But that's almost like lesser god status, whereas this is...
Yeah.
The concept of an animal familiar is something to do your bidding.
Right, exactly.
So bequeathing animal familiars can happen. There was a woman from Liverpool in 1667 who claimed that she had been given her animal familiar by her mother when her mother had died. She said that her mother had told her to open her mouth and told her that she would blow in a fairy that would do her good. And she said that she opened her mouth, and presently after blowing, out of her mouth came a spirit, which stood on the ground in the shape and form of a woman.
Interesting.
So, and the third way, obviously, is the way that I guess they set things up in Salem. I don't know if you... Okay, it's a plane.
It's a plane.
Oh, sweet God.
Yeah, so, all right, side note.
That was so... I hope they can hear it on the episode, because otherwise it just sounds like we lost our minds.
I'm fairly certain. If we can hear it, they can hear it.
Okay, well, we're near Dulles Airport.
Thanks for giving my home away.
Okay, they fucking know, dude. All right, so we're near Dulles Airport, and a plane just flew overhead, and I thought that it was a portal to hell opening, so... just got really spooked.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, just keeping it extra spooky for you.
Probably shouldn't have said anything and just let it be like, what is that?
No, I was scared as fuck.
She started pulling her headphones out. And
I was quitting the podcast.
She was like mouthing me like, what the
I was fucking quitting the podcast.
That's what would happen, just so you all know. She would just get up and leave.
I was
she
done.
Would leave me here.
I was done.
To fall into the portal of hell. Thanks.
I mean, you can come too. Come on. You got legs. Hopefully they're not asleep. Anyway, the third and last way that witches can meet their animal familiars is the way that Kenny was talking about on Salem, where it's a more natural, and this was the one that I feel like makes the most sense, where the person is experiencing difficulty, particularly difficulty related to survival. So struggling to make their rent, struggling to like have money, or they're like in some sort of illness, something like that, where it's connected to survival. And the familiar kind of shows up sort of out of the blue, but in a very natural way, kind of like how you're talking about, like the mouse just running out from wherever a mouse would be.
Yeah.
And the familiar comes and offers them a way out by giving them magical powers.
Yeah.
So in that sort of interpretation, I think the familiar is more... In that sort of interpretation, the power comes from the familiar, whereas in other interpretations, the familiar is just a vessel for it.
Right.
So, obviously it's hundreds of years of folklore. There's different variations.
Yeah. And I mean, and they also used animal familiars like in the to sort of detect a witch, during when crazy witch hunts. If anything, like which would have to suck. So you're sitting in, your prison cell or whatever, and say it could be anything as small as a bug. Beetle, just because that's where,
because you're fucking filthy and it's like
and it's nasty, right?
Yeah. It's the 1600s and you're nasty and dirty and in prison and fucking bugs are everywhere on everybody.
Exactly.
Literally everyone's bodies are covered in bugs all the time.
Exactly.
It's my view of the
1600s. But they would look for shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they'd be like, oh, she's communing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or there's fucking a rat in your cell.
Right.
Because the prison is infested with rats.
Well, actually, I'm going to tell you what. The reason, going back to the plague, if all those motherfuckers wouldn't have killed all the cats because they were so fucking witch crazy trying to kill the witches, then we might have had a different story with the plague. But you killed all the cats, so your rat population overflowed.
Apparently
so
it was the fleas on the rats.
Well, but still, same thing. I mean,
but I feel like the fleas could probably be on the cats too.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry. I'm tearing you down instead of building you up.
Down.
I should be building you up. Down?
No, think of all the cats. Think of all the cats.
I do. Every day. Every day.
Uh-huh.
So, speaking of cats, it's funny that you said that.
Unintentionally bring up a segue?
You unintentionally segue. The unintentional segue. The master of segues.
Master of segues.
So, now that we've talked all about familiars and we're all into it, I figured we might want to summon a familiar.
Now's when we need that airplane sound effect.
So I know, right? So I headed on over to my favorite website for research for the podcast. You may recall this website from several episodes. Spellsofmagic.com. I love this website.
We are not sponsored by them.
So fucking much. We are not sponsored by them. They probably don't even like us. But I love them. So this is a 5-star.
It has 5 stars?
It has 5 out of 5 stars.
Does it have a good Yelp review, everybody?
Get ready. Get ready.
All right, everybody, getting ready.
Here's our description. So, you're going to need 2 sheets of paper.
Okay.
You're going to need a black ink pen. Specifically, a black ink pen. You're going to need a pencil.
Wait, are we signing our contracts with the devil? Is that what's going on?
Are we going to, 8th grade? Kind of reads like a school supply list, doesn't it? You're going to need crayons or colored pencils.
What school of witchcraft is this?
Here we go. You're going to need imagination. So pick some of that up at the store.
Damn.
And you're also going to need belief in this spell.
Okay, I got that.
So, this spell, here's our description. This spell will help you get a familiar spirit in the form of a cat that only you can see.
Oh, shit.
That's how you know it's real, when only you can see it. You can choose every detail about this cat and have a deity bring him or her to life and send him or her to you. This will only work if you believe. Or you won't get your cat if you don't believe.
Okay. I believe.
So, here we go. Here's our instructions. Gather the materials needed.
All right, we're going to take a brief pause for you to gather your materials.
What the fuck was that? Oh, that was damn sound. That was your email.
That wasn't my email.
It was people sliding in your DMs.
Yeah.
All right,
that was my animal familiar.
We have our materials selected. Was your plant familiar? It's an apple.
Yes.
With your pencil, you want to draw your cat on 1 sheet of paper. You want to color your cat with the crayons or colored pencils. Okay? It's very serious, Kenny. I need you to get it together.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You are not going to make it through the rest of the spell.
Okay. All right, go.
With your pen, so we drew it with the pencil. We're coloring it with the colored pencils or the crayons. With your pen, your black ink pen, write your cat's information on the other sheet of paper.
It's information.
It's information.
ASL.
ASL.
What is that?
ASL. In case you're not sure what your cat's information should be sure to include the following: name, gender, cat breed. If it is a crossbreed, include percentages of each breed. Height. The top of the cat's ears are its height. Tail span. Weight. Fur color. Eye color. Personality.
Damn, we are specific.
You have to be specific.
Or else what? Like,
specificity
what happens?
is where or else it doesn't work. You don't get your cat.
Or you get some like fucking
Fucked
demon,
up cat.
crazy fucked up cat from hell.
Yeah.
Oh, Ripley.
All right. So after she is not from hell, she is sweet.
Maybe, just maybe, when you conjured her, you forgot a few details.
I might have. Functions. No. All right. So you've got your cat picture. You've got your list of information.
Uh-huh.
Put your cat picture on top of the paper with its information. Fold them hamburger style twice in this position.
Nice.
Hamburger style, not hot dog style. Draw a pentagram and fold once hot dog style more.
Okay.
Okay? Hold this folded paper to your chest and say, "O name of your god and goddess, I call upon thee. Bless me with this familiar cat bound to me." Now, for tonight and the next 2 nights, you want to say the above, kiss the paper, put it beneath the pillow, and rest. After you've finished, you need to give your deity time to create your cat. The average wait time is about a week, depending on how far behind they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. But if your chosen cat is very intricate, you might be required to wait longer for custom orders. Also, you'll be able to use telepathy with your cat after you finish, as the spirit of your cat already exists, but your deity will need a little longer to make the cat's new body.
Oh.
So you can talk to it all you want before it is there.
So how long does it take to get the cat's body?
Average wait time is about a week. Unless you're like really specific, and then you have to wait a little longer. So after 3 days, you must begin looking for your cat. This is the hardest part, as your cat will be a kitten, and just like a lost pet kitten, they are hard to find. Just look for the same cat that you drew earlier, but as a kitten and way more realistic.
What if you really suck at drawing?
Use telepathy to call your cat to you, and if you don't find your cat by the next week, it'll eventually find you. It's totally fine.
You just thought like it dies or something? Like,
is this written by the ASPCA or like whatever, like some sort of...
Wait, this has 5-star reviews?
It's 5 stars. It's a 5-star
Does anybody
spell.
review? Did they have reviews on these spells? Like, do people leave comments?
I think so. Does it mean? There are no comments on this.
Aw. I want to know if this worked.
So, I mean, of course it fucking worked. You just go outside and find a cat. Like, that's the fucking spell. You draw a cat, you say some things, you kiss it, hamburger style, then the hot dog style, and then you just fucking go outside your house and then you look for cats.
All
and
I
then
heard
you
was
find
hamburgers and hot dogs.
God damn it. However, your familiar is already going to know how to protect you and other people. It's never going to betray you. And even when you think you don't want him or her anymore, he or she will be very sad and still be by your side. Remember, train your familiar well in the ways of your path, and he or she can benefit you. Only you can see it, so keep your cat a secret. Any questions?
No.
Only you can see it.
No. Oh, but what I don't understand is, if you draw a ginger cat, you go out here and find a tabby cat. I mean, what?
That's it.
Are they just like, no,
cat.
sorry, your drawing sucks. Like, sorry, we're out of gingers. Here's this tabby.
I think they're maybe like betting that like there's not as much like human creativity in coloring cats from coloring pencils as there I mean, the spell is basically go the fuck outside and find a cat,
find a kitten.
And then have it. Yeah, right? Can't they be, like, not kittens? Can you just save the older cats, please? Thank you. A little bit, too?
I don't know that I would like for other... Like, I would like to show off my animal familiar. I don't want it to be invisible.
Only you can see it, man. It's fine. That's how you know that it worked really good. Is because only you can see it.
I would want to show it off. Like, let me get some badass cat that I've summoned. I want him on my shoulder. Like, what's up? Except you'd be doing that, and nobody else would see.
It's not going to go well.
Well, guys, if you want to try that spell out, and it works.
Here's a better spell. Go to the fucking animal shelter and adopt a cat.
True. You can still say the words if you want to before you adopt them.
Yeah, totally. For sure.
Because you might invoke something like, you might invoke a cat to come up and choose you from there.
That's true. Yeah. Just be kind and smell like cat treats. Have cat treats in your pocket.
I did smell like cat treats.
Stack the deck. I didn't either, but, you know. What are you going to do?
I love our little babies.
Me too. So you had a fun little thing for us to kind of wrap things up, right?
I did. I really did. Okay, so, honey, I love me a quiz, right? Don't we all? Like, when I need to be productive, like, aka researching stuff for my podcast, I'm like, let me see what type of bedding I am.
Let me see what type of window treatment I am.
Which window treatment describes you best?
What I need to know is what kind of early 90s textile print I am.
Exactly.
Am I a paisley?
No, you're not a paisley. You're definitely the like blue and purple squiggly like abstract art that was on the side of like to-go cups and
oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, like the purple and the teal with the red line through it where it was just like, it kind of looked like a Z but it wasn't a Z. You're right.
Kind of looks like a like the Pop-Tarts, the blue, the raspberry.
Absolutely did. Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Love that. What would I be?
I think you would be a nice houndstooth.
Okay.
A nice strong bold houndstooth.
All right. I'll take that.
I like that for you.
So, just something really simple. I have just a very fun sort of like, what is your animal familiar? I've taken this quiz from Playbuzz, so take it for everything that it is.
I'm sorry, I'm dying again.
She's dying.
It's fine. I can just not have a voice
Why do you always
anymore.
seem to be dying? Every episode.
Because spring is never coming. It's abandoned us, and it's just going to be fucking cold as tits outside every day forever.
I saw a meme where it was like, what did they say? They said like, Summer said that, Winter said that she wasn't going away because she saw y'all's bodies and you're not ready for summer yet. So it's
fine.
Like in Game of Thrones, it's the long winter.
It is. It is the long winter.
So I already took this quiz, and I want you to tell me if you agree with this result or not.
Okay.
Okay. So it says, congratulations.
Are you going to tell me what the questions were?
Well, I'm going to go through with you.
Oh, but you're going to tell me your result first.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I get the same result and then it's not a surprise?
What do you mean? What?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what my result was, but I'm not going to go through the answers with you.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what I chose.
Okay.
So, all right. So it says, your familiar is a fox. As a witch, this means that you are adaptable, quick thinking, and strategic. She's already going to disagree with this because she tells me all the time that I do not accept change very well.
He doesn't.
Which I do not believe.
He doesn't.
I don't believe it.
He really doesn't.
I don't believe it. You are a valuable asset to any team. However, you prefer solitude. You have a vibrant personality and a beautiful soul.
I mean, I certainly agree with the last part.
Uh-huh.
I just wouldn't see a fox for you. Like, they're very...
quick.
and like lithe and small. Like I would just see
low to
something.
the ground, cunning.
Yeah, but I would see something more like, I don't know, like Knox.
An ox?
No, like Knox, like
Knox.
your cat, like your like just
cat.
something fucking squat.
Fucking sloth squat. Is what she's trying to say.
No, like maybe a bear. I could see a bear for you.
I always thought bear. I kind of always thought bear, but then we're getting into something else.
Maybe.
Then we're getting into something else, which we won't go into. This is not that podcast.
It's not yet. It's not.
Could be.
All right, anyway, am I going to take it now?
Yes, we're going to take it. I'm going to read you the questions.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess it's got pictures, so you need to see.
Point out to everybody who's still hanging in there, at this point, you are listening to a podcast. You're listening to someone else take a BuzzFeed quiz.
At PlayBuzz.
I'm sorry, PlayBuzz.
PlayBuzz.
I'm sorry.
Different.
Is it really?
Okay, so here we go. Which planet is your favorite?
The purple one.
You've got, so that would be Saturn.
Oh, what are my choices?
Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Mars.
Probably, that's hard. It's between Saturn and Mars.
I'm mad they don't have all of them on here.
I know. It would be Jupiter otherwise.
Me too.
Big Booty Judy for sure.
I love me some Jupiter.
Let's go Mars.
All right. Okay. Which horse would you pick? You've got a black one. You've got a brown one, an all-white one, and then like an kind of an off-white one.
Is that I picked that one. I think that's supposed to be a buckskin. The picture's just really light.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have a buckskin horse. My horse is a buckskin. In real life, I actually have one.
All right. So in which one of these scenes would you most like to go? So you've got like a really cute little lazy river type deal. You've got a nice mountain scene. You've got what appears to be somewhere in like Alaska or like a foggy forest type deal. And then you also have what looks to be somewhere in
Japan.
Yeah.
I'll take a lazy river.
This one? Yeah.
For fucking sure. I was not interested in that until you called it a lazy river.
That's what it looked like to me. It probably isn't. It's probably the fucking Amazon you've got.
Where's my tube? Freaking anaconda just comes up. Noms.
Oh, that's a pretty picture. All right, so pick the flower.
I wish they could see it, but it's a podcast.
You like best. So you've got your sunflowers, you've got your rose, you've got your... Is that a cherry blossom?
It looks like it's cherry blossom.
Oh, okay. And then dandelions. Dandelion? That's technically a weed. Right?
Fuck you. I'm picking the dandelion, bitch.
Have you seen that video? You're not on Facebook. You're not cool anymore. So you don't.
Facebook.
There was a picture. There was a video of a lady who's like, she's like, don't forget about the dandelion horn. Don't let the dandelion horn die. So it's like you take the dandelion, you cut the end off of it, and you like blow into it, and it creates it's like a little horn.
Yeah. I totally used to do that as a kid.
I didn't.
You didn't go outside.
I blew them. I was like. And then my wishes never came true. All right, so which one of these clouds you can find yourself in?
Fucking, what is this quiz?
I told you.
Fucking what? All right, I picked the purple cloud. The most purple cloud. Yes.
Okay.
I'm so irritated with this quiz. What are these questions?
All right, so pick a quote. So we're going to go through these.
Okay.
All right, so first quote. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. The first to forget is the happiest. Okay? That's one.
That's true. That's dark as fuck, but that's true.
2. You're mad. Bonkers. Off your head. But I'll tell you a secret. All of the best people are.
Oh, that's Lewis Carroll.
It's okay to be a glow stick. Sometimes we need a break before we shine. Fucking loser.
I feel like that's from Pinterest. Like,
fucking loser. You are the universe expressing itself as human for a little while.
I'm torn between the first one and the last one. I'm going to go with You're the Universe, expressing itself as human for a little
That sounds
while.
like you.
All right. I'm going to take it as a compliment.
Choose a beautiful word. Querencia, a place where you are your most authentic self. Eugen, a profound sense of the universe. A nemophilist, a haunter of the woods. Someone who loves the forest and its beauty and solitude. And komorebi, sunlight that's filtered through the trees.
Oh, for sure, komorebi. That's
calculating results. Calculating results. We gotta wait for this advertisement to go away, though. Fucking ads.
You can skip it.
Oh, now I can. The snake! I'm so jealous! Fuck you, bitch! Fuck you, bitch!
Me in Alaska Thunderfuck 5000, girl.
Congratulations, you're familiar as a snake. Bitch. No, that's not As a witch, this means you are creative, patient, and curious. You love nature and find comfort in the forests. You are innovative, and your sunny personality makes you a joy to be around. I don't think so.
Well, fuck you, too. At least I'm consistent. Slytherin. Snake.
True. I mean, I would consider, like, a fox to be, like, on that same...
cunning level.
Yeah,
they're both
on
like
that
somewhat
same
cunning.
level.
They probably only fucking pick cool animals though. Like I don't think you could take it and get like a hippo as your animal familiar. Although if we're looking at like animals that can do your bidding, like a fucking hippo is like gonna get some shit done. You ever seen a mad hippo? They're so
crazy.
Scary.
They kill people.
For sure.
They fucking kill people.
For sure.
So yeah, so you would say if I could have one, you say that it would be a bear.
Yeah, I would. If I was going to assign you one, I would assign you probably like a bear. What would you assign me?
To be honest, probably a cat.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would. I mean, I think it would be a cat. I think it would be a cat. A bear would be really hard for me to like
carry places.
Right.
No,
just fucking have in my home.
Yeah, he just lives here. He could have his own chair and like he would sit in it and like read the newspaper and just do bear things.
Right.
He would eat waffles.
It would be like Smokey the Bear. What if he was just really like, don't light these candles?
Don't do that. That's dangerous. No, what if he was like Yogi Bear? And he was like super dumb. And you were like, yeah, I got a bear. And then he was like the...
And by bear, the devil gives me like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my god.
The fucking gates of hell open up. And you've got fucking flames coming up through the pits. And just
Winnie the Pooh
crawls Winnie the Pooh.
He's fucking trotting out in his crop top, ready to go.
Where's the honey? And he's just looking for a suckle. Oh my god. How awful would that be?
That's kind of horrifying.
That is. Where's the honey? Fuck.
Yeah.
God, that would suck. Literally.
All right. Well,
there's that. So, yeah.
Animal familiars.
A brief history.
A brief
history.
If you guys try this summoning a cat spell, please let me know how it goes for you. And also write us so that we can refer you to local animal shelters in your area.
Right. Definitely.
So come hang out with us. Come hang out with us on Instagram. We want to hear from you guys. We heard from some of you this week, but we would really like to hear from others of you.
Yeah.
Come chill with us. It's pretty cool there.
On the Insta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know what your animal familiar would be. Do you have an animal familiar?
What would you pick for yourself?
And how does that, like, relate to your personality? Like, you know, I want to know a little bit more about you guys. So, again, we really appreciate all of the comments and things that you have been leaving. All of the upvotes on Podcast Land. Appreciate all of that.
And just ratings and reviews in general.
Yeah.
Like, you know. Stitcher, we're kind of new-ish on Stitcher. So if you want to rate us there. That would be awesome.
Definitely.
And
yeah.
So until next week, I guess it's time to stay spooky.
Stay spooky.